Yo, what's going on, everybody? How's your weekend? Yo, HRJ in the house. What's up, buddy? If y'all aren't following HRJ, make sure you check him out. Dude's a legend. We're having fun here. We're waiting for everyone to get in here. Throw a 1 in the chat if you made money last week. That range rotation, we're killing it, boys. If y'all could do me a favor, let's get those likes up. Everyone hit that like button on your way in. All right, family. How are we doing? What a great week of trading last week. We should have a similarly good week this week. Let's say hello to everyone. Hondo Poncho, my man, how's it going? Andrew Cameron, you absolute legend. What's up, man? Ricky Spanish, what's up, my friend? How you doing, brother? Bull Runner, always a pleasure. Fecker, good to see you. All right. HRJ. Amazing to see you, brother. Amazing to see you. All right. Kango, how's it going? Mikey, welcome to the family, Mikey. Joey, what's up? What's going on? Barb, I know you've been killing it last week. Do you still have half that swing open? Rob Dirt, what's up, man? Lidio, what's up? Wuinez. Hey, Wuinez, that script you dropped in resources, that's really great, man. Good job. Good job. All right. Cool. So, what a week, guys. Well, it's nice to say pretty much all of the things that we were expecting at our weekly open last week have come to fruition, from the rotation to last week's VWAP to the reclaim of last week's value area to holding 116.5 and then rotating the range. Well, we would expect now, just on leftover TA from last week, it's just a swipe of this liquidity, right? In terms of like immediate short term of what's left from our predictions from last week. All right. Cool. So, let's take a look a little deeper in here. So, starting with structure, obviously, right? Just a review of the things that we went over last week. We were looking for, we got our mitigation here, right? We were paying attention because we know that our relevant 4-hour low is down here, right? So in order for 4-hour to flip bearish, we had to lose this price here. We know that our internal structure on our 4-hour flipped bullish here, meaning the highest likelihood of a continuation trade to the upside getting in was on this mitigation here, this retrace here, if you didn't catch the 886 bounce from the bottom. Right? The reason that I keep going over this stuff is because the more that I go over it, the better chance you guys have of taking the trade next time, right? 886, why do we like the 886, right? Because if we're using our strong low for our stop loss, and we're taking the trade up to previous highs, right? It's a 7-to-1 trade, not bad, right? Up to where we've been right now, like a 4-to-1, right? You can lose this trade 6 times, win it once, break even. Now, we know we have liquidity in all of these highs. We know we're currently in a 4-hour uptrend. So, let's do a little bit of if this, then that, right? If we're going to run these highs, so if the 4-hour structure holds, we should go on the assumption that we're going to run these highs, right? Now, where is our valid 4-hour low? Our valid 4-hour low is here, internally, right? This is internal structure. This is where our internal 4-hour break of structure would be. Now, what have we done on the 4-hour? We've come up, retested the spider line, we're going up. Generally, whenever you do this, you would expect to go to the next spider line. Now, where's the next spider line? Next spider line is going to be basically at previous highs, 124-ish, right? So if we hold this spider line, we would expect to go to the next one, which comes in line with our liquidity targets here. Let's draw out our momentum here. Right? This is your little I am wrong line, right? As long as this line stays intact, we would assume that we're just going to keep coming up, right? A lot of liquidity on the way up. All right. So we were looking at our volume profile of last week, right? So, well, this would be 2 weeks ago now, but yeah. We still have last week's, or the week before last, value area high at 119.590. I would expect that to be our next stop here as the week opens, right? We rotated up to our point of control. We held our value area low. Now we're trying to rotate up, take all the liquidity. The more local liquidity in these highs as well. Not too bad. Not too bad. So our weekly candle did just close. Let's look at last week's here. Let's get rid of some of this TA here. So just barely didn't bullish engulf, right? But we did reclaim these previous lows on the weekly. Let's look at volume here. How's our volume this week? just consolidation volume as we kind of flag out here on the weekly, right? It's important to notice basically all we're doing is flagging out, right? We mitigated the range, which is what we would, which is actually very rare for Bitcoin to do, right? Which is probably why we didn't get that deep of a mitigation. We just got like a quick test of previous highs. Now, one thing that we were looking at before last week, what's up, Aaron? How's it going, brother? Cubanadian, how you doing? Dreams, welcome in. One thing that we were looking at last week, if you watched the one-on-one that we did on Wednesday, was we were looking at this trend line on the weekly, right? Now, when we were looking at this trend line, we were talking about how I think I was on the live stream with CryptoChem right here, and we were talking about needing to get back above this trend line. What do you notice, right? Now, also, if you're in the Discord, you'll notice that the last post I put in Discord, very important trend line to have on your chart, drawn on the weekly. Right? If you're not in the Discord, make sure you join the Discord. Lots of free sauce there. So, we were talking about holding this trend line. Now, what do you notice? Once we reclaim this trend line, we held it, boom, continuing to go up. Now, the assumption would be that as long as this trend line on the weekly holds, we don't need to see something like this, right? If you're banking on this, you want to see this trend line lost, right? If the trend line is not lost, you should really be banking on the up direction right now, right? Because the risk to reward is higher because you have a strong trend line below and strong lows on the 4 hour, right? So we can add some confluences in here and notice, hey, the 4 hour strong low is also, or internally, the 4 hour low is also here, right? So we would kind of expect this area to hold. Now, it doesn't mean that it necessarily has to hold, right? Of course, anything can happen in markets. But if we look at kind of the journey that price has made, and we've been watching this journey as price went through here, right? We know that there was this model 2 accumulation down here that we were talking about all last week, right? We had this model 2 accumulation, right? And then we had the mitigation come down, right? We had range, initiation, mitigation, continuation. Now, also, what we were looking at in the Discord here, like our 15-minute time frame. Here, we had a nice little reaccumulation model. That we were looking at as well. Right? We had our jump across the creek, our test, SOS, mitigation, continuation. Right? This is why this Wyckoff stuff is so important, right? Because you're able to identify these patterns that play out over and over again on all time frames, right? You had a little distribution model in here, right? Model 1, 1, 2, 3, right? Break of structure on 2, retest on the third hit, comes down. I think that was a model 2 technical. Oh yeah, it did sweep the high. Model 1, right? Little distribution model in here, come down, finish the accumulation. You could say the jump over the creek happened here, right? You could argue that it was here. But the model really looks complete if you draw it here. I would consider it to be here and then just a deep retest and go. But either way, it doesn't really matter, right? You can draw these things however you want. The important thing is being able to identify them, right? So, where do we stand now? Let's zoom in a little bit. So let's look at our indicators on our lower time frames. Another thing, what did we call out back here last week, right? We said, I think this was on Monday's stream or something. We said if the 50 crosses the 200, or that was on Wednesday's stream, sorry. If the 50 crosses 200, look to buy underneath, right? Had you done that, stood the test of time, right? Also, if you have Cipher Matrix, you could have just bought anytime that it went into the bullish reversal zone, right? But you guys know this. The reason we go over the same thing over and over again every week is because, look, guys, like, proof's in the pudding, right? The reason that video is titled Trading Doesn't Have to Be Hard, the CMA trick proves it, is because I meant it. I meant what I said. Now, should these EMAs on the 15-minute stay bullish, that's another confluence we can add that we're continuing to SOS up, right? Look at our daily here. Daily, look at this. Today, just today we confirmed, or I guess it would have been, yeah, we confirmed it today. We confirmed a MACD cross on the daily. Look at this daily candle, right, that just closed. Very bullish candle. Engulfed the previous 2 days of bearish volume. Now, This is very important, right? Because what does that do? Right? What that does is internal structure, right? Because we're talking about internal structure. It creates a new daily low here, right? Two bearish candles in a row, right? In the creation of this low, this would be your new internal daily low, 115.896, right? We also know that there's a 4-hour low a little bit higher in there. So this is a very key area, this 116 area. It's also underneath the bottom of the range from before. So really, we would expect that if 116.300 holds, we're probably running the liquidity to the upside. Again, just stacking more and more stuff. Remember, we don't make predictions, right? We're not prophets. We just respond to price action. We had a nice bounce off the 50 EMA on the daily. Notice this. The trend ribbon on the daily is flipping bullish again. Clear indication of bullish continuation momentum. Very nice. Very nice. Weekly still got room, right? No MACD cross yet on the weekly. This to me on the weekly, we know it's mitigation, right? But in terms of like, so we're holding inside the reversal zone, right? So we know we're still trending, and it just looks like a retest of the trend ribbon, kind of similar to this, right? On the weekly, not really concerning. But remember, the most important thing on the weekly is this trend line, right? Once this trend line breaks, we can talk about having a bigger correction. As long as this trend line is holding, we're chilling, right? We're in an uptrend, right? Now, 200 EMA strat on the 4-hour, right? Could have accumulated underneath this 200. 50 gets saved, doesn't cross. You're chilling. And I mean, as you go on higher time frames, you know, get better and better entries, right? You could have bought underneath the 200 here, right? Get a nice 6-hour buy signal on Cipher Matrix at the bottom. You guys know, y'all who have Cipher Matrix, y'all are seeing it, right? These high time frame signals. Right, 12-hour buy signal here. Right, 8-hour buy signal. Just touches the trend ribbon. But even if you don't have Cipher Matrix, right, you guys were probably looking at this 200 tap here, right? Next time you guys see this, you'll be able to pull the trigger faster, right? And like a lot of times you can see, hey, should I really participate here? Just look at what happened in the past, right? And your invalidation would be if the 50 crosses back below. Okay. So locally, we know we're obviously coming into some areas of interest, right? We're coming into like a value area high of the previous range. If we just take like our fixed range volume profile, we grab like this area. Where did we lose the range? Let's say we lost the range probably like here-ish. We know we got a value area high, kind of at that same previous week value area high around like 119,500. That's obviously going to be an area of interest, but we've been really gunning for this liquidity. Really, I would say bulls have been gunning for this liquidity since when we hit that 115,300 low, right? They obviously lost the fight then, came down, get some more air, push back up, try to run that liquidity again. So we'll see if we can get above those highs there. Again, if you guys are a student of me, right, we trade with 4-hour market structure. 4-hour market structure is bullish as long as we're above this high. Higher risk to reward in trades to the upside. We're going to take upside trades, right? 4-hour 50 EMAs above the 200. Good to go. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. Let's look at our 15-minute. We'll look at Bitcoin dominance and stuff today as well. All right, so 15-minute structure just broke the high again, which means our relevant 15-minute strong low is going to be down here, 118. Getting into the reversal zone up here, a little bit of topping structure here, a little bit of topping volume as well. Zoom in. Yeah, Cuban. We'll pull it up on stream today for sure. I'm sure Solana will get requested in the altcoins. I'll give you time to screenshot it. Man, this dashboard is super bullish. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So the 5 minutes still just riding the reversal band, really thick trend ribbon. Nothing really of concern. 5 minute strategy underneath the 200. Got a nice buy here inside the Cipher Matrix reversal zones, right? When you're in a strong uptrend, you're just looking to buy generally in the bullish reversal zones. I'm trying to think, like, I want to give you guys relevant TA, but we're high up right now. I mean, I would assume most of you guys are probably long from last week. Throw a 1 in the chat if you're currently long. Put a 2 in the chat if you're short. Put a 3 in the chat if you're looking for entries. I want to get an idea of where everybody's at. Ones and threes, love it, guys. Heck yeah, okay. Okay, so let's talk pullback levels, right? So, should the uptrend continue, you guys know, set alerts for Bitcoin coming underneath the 5 minute 200. Same with the 15 minute 200, right? 5 minute 200, you can use the 15 minute strong low as your stop. Obviously, we have a lot of confluence in this area, right? So we know the 15 minute 200 EMA is here. We also know that we have confluence of this spider line with this weekly trend line. So I would say this area here would be really high interest, right? Come down here, maybe sweep everybody in these lows, get everyone to think we're coming lower, find support, kind of like 117.2 to like 117 to like 118, this area here. Wherever we end up stopping, right, you guys know you can pull a range deviation here. So let's say we come up to that 119,500 level. Let's say we pull a range deviation here. Let's say we sweep these lows into the spider line. We close above 117,708. Can look for a nice little range deviation long here. Grab the liquidity, right? Take it back up to that high again. Can use that weekly trend line as your stop loss. A nice little trade there. Be looking for there. But, I mean, momentum is strong right now. Obviously looking for like any sort of distribution pattern. I'll be notifying you guys in the Discord if I see anything. But it looks good right now. First, I'm just gonna give you guys some targets because most of you guys are long, and then if you get pullbacks, obviously we'll long those in the Discord. But we're obviously gunning for all of the liquidity, right? All right, here we can do this. Right, the odds that we made it all the way up here to not grab this liquidity are very slim to none, right? So we do have that value area high at 119,500, right? But we would generally expect the first place where they could grab a lot of liquidity would be up here like 119,850. So you can set an alert there, right? You can say, put an alert. You can say Bitcoin short liquidity grabs. And then you can do the same thing on all three of these lines, right? Ultimately, why would we assume that Bitcoin's going to come back to this high? Put it in the chat, right, guys? Why would we assume that Bitcoin's going to come back here? I'm going to get a drink of water while you guys answer that. All right, close. So, yep, that's it, TF. Yeah, why? Because this is our week high, right? back to our structure lesson. Gonna reinforce this to you guys over and over again. If we know, right, that externally, that this is our strong low on our 4 hour, right? This is our strong low, and in this pullback to the 886, right, we never broke our strong low. That means that this high remains weak, right? Remember, strong low is the low that helps you move, right? They carry boxes for you, and they're really good at it. You know, they never drop the boxes, right? So right now, our strong low is doing its job, carrying the boxes to the next house, attacking the weak high. What would change this assumption, right? When would we start looking for shorts? If we lost our strong low on the 4 hour. So right now, price is just, it looks like, right? Let's get some of my doodles out of here, all right? It looks like price may finally be done, right? A, B, C might finally be done with its correction period, and it may be time to resume the trend, right? Which makes sense, right? Because when we came down to set this new low, right? This internal low here, we came down to the 886, right? Which is kind of the last level where we would expect, outside of like an SFP, right? An SFP is possible, right, to maintain structure. But in terms of like a strong spot for the correction to stop, right? Putting in an SFP makes you question the strength of this low, question the strength of the run, right? But reversing at your 886 makes sense because it's kind of the last level of defense of this low. Then we can go back and attack this high. So it's kind of all playing out according to plan. They faked everyone out, right? They broke the weekly trend line. Oh no, weekly trend line's not going to hold. Everyone gets short at the absolute worst possible time, except for us, right? We're screaming to long right here. Comes up, continuation, reclaims the trend line, off to the races. Good to go. Put a 1 in chat if that makes sense. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Love to see it. Okay, this is for Geeky here. We'll do something fun, right? You could argue. Geeky would argue the reason all this is happening is because of the moon thingy here, right? The full moon. Right, full moon, price goes up. Right, full moon, price goes up. Don't trade off the moons, guys. It's don't do it. New moon, price dumps. Okay. All right. Cool. So that's targets on Bitcoin. Yeah, TF. All right. Let's look at Ethereum. All right, let's look at Bitcoin dominance because this was interesting. So last month on the monthly close stream, we were talking about Bitcoin dominance. So we were talking about how we had this monthly sell signal on Bitcoin dominance, right? How we had came up to the monthly reversal zone and how we could expect, like, this is the first real evidence we could see for alt season, right? Now, we have had quite the sell-off after the monthly sell signal on Bitcoin dominance. What is one thing that we're aware of, traders, though, right? We are underneath. Oh, what did I just press? We are underneath our monthly bullish trend ribbon, right? So underneath the EMAs, we would expect a bit of a bounce, right? This may be the time when we get a bounce up to put in a lower high, totally give us that rollover, maybe just down to the 50 EMA, or, you know, that massive alt season everyone's talking about. But, you know, with people putting Bitcoin in their 401ks and everything, you know, maybe just down to 50 EMA. But some sort of rollover, right? So let's zoom in a little bit. Let's dissect this price. Four-hour made a new low. Let's see. Ooh, yeah. Looks like alts may have a good week this week. Yeah. Maybe like a retrace up into previous lows. Like here. Yeah. Yeah, I think alts could have a good week this week. What would invalidate that? Obviously, like a break of 62, right? Break of 62, we're probably coming back up. But as long as 62 doesn't break 62.5, we would expect... Well, hold on. How did the daily close? Oh, look at that. Okay, so this might be a range deviation, just barely at 59.88. Yeah, a little bit of mixed signals here. So here's what I will tell you. I would set an alert, 59.88. So if Bitcoin dominance starts closing 4-hour candles back below 59.88 again, long your altcoins. Long your altcoins if that happens. Right now, be a little cautious because this could be a range deviation fake out and it may be Bitcoin's time to run, right? It might be Bitcoin's time to go back to 123 and maybe the alts have a little bit of not necessarily pain, maybe just slow down ahead while Bitcoin makes a move, right? Right? Prepared trader is a profitable trader. So mark out 59.88, set a alert there, and just react to that. Bitcoin looks really good though. So it may just be Bitcoin's turn to have a little fun. Okay. Cool. The 1 hour here. Man, it's dumping. Alright, yeah, let's just see on that. Let's go to ETH. Had a little arrow here. Looks like, I swear, when you just start drawing stuff on the chart knows, and it just, So if you were in an ETH long, let's get rid of everything. If you were in an ETH long, you guys know as long as it's in the reversal zone here, there's no real reason to close it. So maybe you closed it here, right? I would watch the retest of the reversal band here on Ethereum. If we get like a wick on this candle, right? If this candle wicks in the reversal zone, can't close above, the trend ribbon flips purple, you may short it down to the reversal zone again, right? Or not necessarily short it, right? You may just be waiting for an entry down here. Right, this 200 EMA is going to come up. You know, maybe you can get an entry underneath both. Cool. If it reclaims the reversal zone here, then obviously, right, you can continue your off to the races behavior, but you just had this giant trend move, you know, A, B, C correction makes sense. Cool down. Get some entries down there. Let's look at how ETH has been behaving here. Let's zoom in a little bit. So, 15-minute, we can get orb out of here for now. Can't really see what I'm doing. Nice 15-minute buy signal here. So we're right at a golden pocket right now. So it's wicking the 15-minute reversal zone here. All right, so let's do a little bit of dissecting of last week's price action because you guys will remember, right? What did I tell you guys at the beginning of last week? I said if ETH is going to make a crazy bullish move this week, which it ended up doing, right? You guys were looking for entries underneath the 5-minute 200, right? 50 crosses 200, buy underneath the 5-minute 200. Accumulate underneath the 200, right? You would have got stopped out here if you're following my strategy, right? This range would have chopped you up a little bit, right? But then would have crossed here, got in here, and caught the big move up, right? Later in the week, another chance here, big move up, right? And now we're ranging again. So should this happen again, right? Consolidation range, 50 crosses to 200, comes underneath the 200, buy it for a move up, right? Something to keep in mind. If ETH is going to go on a crazy bullish run again this week, might be worth finally trading this strategy if you've been sitting on the sidelines, right? Money to be made. Cool. Now, what else do we notice? 50 crossed here, buy underneath, but there hasn't really been a second chance to buy underneath the 15-minute 200. So should the price come underneath the 15-minute 200, like if it's going to play out like we said, right? Like maybe it has to cool off a bit. Maybe ETH does this underneath the 200 here. Probably a good idea to buy that for next move up. Probably a good idea. Cool. Let's zoom out on ETH a little bit. So just doing standard technical analysis, right? We know that this area here was strong resistance. Generally, we would expect this to be strong support if we came back to it, right? That $4,000 level. You really wouldn't want to see like this, right? Like, if you saw that, I mean, you'd start questioning, because if we zoom out, we can see like kind of like a megaphone pattern here, right? One, two, three, four, five, six. All right. So you start failing this kind of decision block. If you guys know, if you guys have been following everything that we say about ranges, let me redo that. You guys know that this right here is our decision demand on our macro range. So generally we would expect, like, generally if you're looking to trade this spot, right, you could have your stop loss underneath here. Because generally, if you come under the range, get accepted as resistance to start losing this low, I mean, you're coming all the way down here. At that minimum, you're coming all the way down here. On spot, right? Now, you hold above this previous resistance. You come up here, you flip the megaphone to support, you're probably going to all-time highs. Well, you are going to all-time highs, right? Now, if ETH hits all-time highs and gets like a 20% dump off all-time highs, right, comes here, it'll be coming right back to this decision block basically, right? Nice little long for future continuation. All right, that's a very, like, you know, maybe we pump up to all-time highs kind of around rate cuts, right? We get a rate cut dip, we come down to the decision block, and then we shoot up to like 7,200 or 5,600 or wherever people think it's going, right? Or maybe that path looks a little different, right? Maybe we shoot up to 5,600. Maybe we come down on rate cuts and then we go higher. But either way, you should be looking at this decision block area here. If we get any sort of like future macro pullback, that's where I'd be looking. Those are kind of what I see on the macro on ETH. Short term on ETH, I would mainly just use the EMA strategy or 15 or 5 minute Cipher matrix. Be looking at that too. Right? 15-minute bullish reversal zone on Cipher matrix. Get long here. Free ride. Enjoy. Cool. Okay, guys. Is there any altcoins that you guys want to look at? Any questions you guys have? Throw them in chat. We'll take a look. Oh, you wanted to see Sol, right? Let's take a look at Sol. Put a 1 in the chat if you got long on Sol or bought spot Sol because of our daily golden cross analysis we were talking about. We told everybody to get long on Sol, right? Did you guys pack your bags? I want to see a lot of 1s in the chat. Hold on, I want to give him the levels here. Cuban, here you go, man. Joey TF, nice. Nicely done. Alright, yeah, just go back and screenshot that if you need it, Cuban. So, what were we looking at? What are we talking about, right? So, all last week we were talking about the retest. Right? We were talking about... Are these drawings locked? No. Okay. Cool. Okay. We were talking about the Golden Cross retest, right? So we were talking about the 50 on the daily crossing the 200. You get the retest underneath. We were telling everyone to load up on Sol here. What happens? You load up on Sol there, you initiate out. Alright? Why is this important? This is important because this starts runs, right? $50 crosses 200, buy underneath, right? Kind of front ran it there, but it starts these massive runs, right? Buy underneath the 200, get in for the massive run. Anyway. Right, what would invalidate this for your spot bag, right, would be the 50 crossing back underneath the 200. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit. Nice, sold at 186. Yeah, I mean, made money. Okay. Okay, so we hit our support level at 185. We got these buy signals down here at support, breaking back up now, heading up to our bearish reversal zone. Now, what do we know, right? Whenever we're in a bullish trend, right, we don't short in the bearish reversal zone, right, because it can't continue going. We wait for it to fall out of the reversal zone, the trend would turn purple, right? But we're not even really looking for shorts, right? We're just looking for when we close our longs, wait for the next opportunity. Now, very important opportunity has presented itself, right? So we have a golden cross on the 4 hour. Now, we also know that our high time frame, our bias time frame, right, our daily, is under a golden cross as well. So if you were skeptical and you didn't get long on the 4 hour market structure break retest here that we were talking about, right, you will have another chance on the retest of the 4 hour 200, right? So what can you do, right? I don't want to miss this opportunity. I want to get long on Sol before it goes on, before it gets injected in liquidity, right? You come over here to your EMAs, find your 200, you set an alert. And you can say, I want to be alerted when the price crosses the 200 EMA on the 4 hour, right? You can call that alert Sol 4 hour 200 EMA golden cross retest, right? This would be a very profitable alert to set on your chart because you'll be notified when the next correction happens whenever you're underneath your 4 hour 200. Good place to start accumulating a spot position if you missed out before. Cool. Obviously a little overheated here, right? Could it continue going up? Yes, it could. How do you ride that? Well, we know how to participate safely, right? You participate safely by zooming in on smaller time frames and capturing smaller bits of the move until you get a better location to enter on a swing trade, right? Now, what would be cool about coming underneath this now is it would kind of retest demand here, right? Again, we had our decision block here. We came back, mitigated decision block, off to the races. But we can still come back to mitigate this previous high. All right, so where's that? It's like 171-ish. So if Bitcoin's going to hit 119.5 or like from here, it's going to cool off a little bit. If Sol comes to like 171, 172, be a good spot to take along. Or to buy some spot if you don't have any. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Same goes for the 1 hour. Obviously, it hasn't had a retest in the 1 hour either. It's getting a little 618 rejection right now. Could come down for sure. But in structures, let's see. So we did break 1 hour structure bearishly. Or was the previous high before that? Okay, so on the 1 hour, there's hope that you might get a pullback here, right? So we had our bearish break of structure here. Then we came up to our 618, our golden pocket, right? We're getting a little bit of a rejection off the golden pocket. So we may come back down to break these lows again, and then we might come under the 1 hour 200. And look, we have that 1 hour support at 171. Yeah, if Sol comes back to 171, I'd be looking for like a 5-minute structure break, 3-minute structure break there to ride Sol back up. Yeah, 171. Yeah, Cuban, if Sol gets back down to 171, you could rebuy your position there, man. That'd be a good trade in my opinion. Cool. Let's see. 15-minute EMA trade's been nice on the ride up. Man, these alts are trading really nice, guys. Make your money during this Bitcoin dominance dump, guys. Make your money. Keep it simple. Make sure you're following rules, right? Make sure that if you're buying underneath the 200, right, and the 50 crosses 200, you're getting out for a small loss and you're waiting for the next opportunity where your risk to reward will play out and make your money back, right? Risking 1 to 2% per trade, right? Making sure that you survive and just catching the trades, following your rules, right? Yeah, exactly, Dreams. You follow your rules, right? You have a rules-based strategy, and you know that if you execute the trades with good risk management and good execution over a long enough time frame, you're going to make profit because it's a profitable backtested strategy. And you're participating safely and avoiding FOMO. And if ETH is going to continue pumping, just take the trades on ETH. Trust me, things rips out of that 200. Completely rips out of that 200. Okay, yeah, so 1 hour market structure is bearish, so if we're going to continue, right, we need to flip the 1 hour bullish again, right? So it looked like this. So if Sol is just going to go on an absolute ripper, right, then you would expect it to break 1 hour market structure, back test one of my beautiful orange lines here at 186.70 to go back up. So these are the two situations that I'd look for on Sol. I'd either look for a pullback to like 171-ish, to get long there, or I would look for a break of 186.18, back test 186.5 as support, get long there for a move up. Those are the two things that I look for on Sol. Right? Yeah, HRJ, yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. These would be, if you're getting in at 186, right, 178 would be your strong lows. Right, so back test this. You can have your stop loss underneath your strong lows on your 1 hour. Catch the next move up. Where probably to? Well, the 200. Back to 203. Right, that would be take profit 1, and you could look to hold it for longer if the market lets you, right? But this would be take profit 1. And then you can take it to 209 and so on from there. Cool beans. All right, what's some other altcoins we can look at? CRV. Hey, that 86 level hit. Okay. Oh yeah, that was from here. Okay. So we hit demand on CRV. Let's look at our daily. Oh yeah, perfect mitigation. That's where this 86 level was from. Alright, so TA works, guys, right? What were we looking at? We're looking at to come back, mitigate previous demand. Right? What does it do? It comes back, mitigates previous demand. Bouncing up now. Now we did flip a little bit of daily structure here. It looks like we kind of range deviated both sides here. Yeah, so we came up, we put in a range deviation to the high, came back down, put in a range deviation to the low. Nice range really nice range deviation long down here. Right off demand too. Beautiful. Target for that trade is 1038. Making its way up to that target now, retesting the or reclaiming the reversal zone here. Trend ribbon flipped back blue. Zoom in. Nice test, man. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful golden cross in the 4 hour. Absolutely beautiful. Cipher Matrix gave you the buy, right at the, man. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Perfect bounce off the bullish reversal zone. Let's go. Okay. Who asked for CRV? Bull Runner, are you currently long on CRV or are you looking for an entry? What's going on, man? Yeah, it is. Yeah, TF. It's a beautiful range deviation for sure. Very beautiful. You're currently long? You're chilling, man. I think you're looking at $1.38 for your first target. So what already happened, bro? So we hit this supply, right? So that would have been a good spot to lock in some profit when we mitigated that at 1015. We held our, that's an internal low. I would say as long as you don't lose 94 cents, I wouldn't really worry about taking much profit up until we get to this reversal zone and the premium of the range at 1038. If we start losing 94, then, you know, you might consider locking in if you're long from like down in this area. But as long as 94 holds, yeah, you're chilling back up to 1037. 1037 is where I'd consider taking some profit. Yeah, Barb. Yeah, this was a really nice move. Yeah, retest the previous demands here, right? Right, same stuff we talk about all the time, right? Range, initiation, mitigation, continuation, right? Nice. All right. Yeah, so what, yeah, especially, yeah, I like those 94 lows, right, because we had a golden cross in the 1 hour, retest underneath the golden cross here. Yeah, if you're looking for 94.4 to hold, man. Okay. Because there's still liquidity. Yeah, this is a really soft mitigation here. There's still liquidity up here. Okay, cool. XRP, yeah, James, we can look at XRP. Man, we had some good trades on XRP. Okay. So there was a daily 50 EMA tap. Man, it front ran us at our demand here. When did it bounce? So it bounced from the 50 EMA on the daily. Oh, underneath the, man, these altcoins. Beautiful golden cross retest. Sheesh. Okay. Okay, so what has XRP done? It's come up to retest supply. So you had previous supply concern here. Right, so we tapped off that supply, coming back down. We didn't break any we broke some internal structure on the 4 hour here. Okay, so there's a couple confluences on the way down. So there's demand here. Now inside of that demand, there's also a 4 hour order block. So I like that area a lot. There's also some more untapped order blocks kind of that is confluent with the point of control down here. So the two areas that I'd be looking for, yeah, because these two are already mitigated. This order block's not mitigated, but the actual demand range itself has been. Yeah, I like like 308. I like I like this trade initially, right up to this previous bearish order block over here as target one. Obviously, you can go higher than that, right? And then I also like if we can come underneath this 4-hour 200 again and hit this order block. I like this trade as well. So the two spots for that is 308.35 and 296. And I'd look for 5-minute structure break there. 5-minute structure break. Now, if it's going to keep going internally, let's zoom in a little. Ooh. Oof. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. If we sweep these lows. Underneath the 200, I like that. I like an SFP of these lows. So let's plan that out too. So XRP, if you didn't already take a screenshot of these two plays, you take a screenshot of that. Let's plan out this 1-hour trade because it's kind of unfolding right now. So there's a couple ways that this can go. So it hasn't swept the liquidity yet. So I obviously like a liquidity sweep best. So that's 315.11. So let's draw out our range deviation here. So I like a sweep underneath the 1-hour 200, taking the liquidity in these lows, but not closing below 313.42 or 313, yeah, 42. Right? So I like a long somewhere down in here. Stop loss there. Run it back up to the highs. That's a 14-to-1 trade. I like that short term. That's my plan for short-term long on XRP. Liquidity sweep into a push. Now, you might not get that because we already did get the 1-hour buy on Cipher Matrix here, kind of in between these EMA pinch. So that's definitely one to have planned out there. Let's plan out the breakout trade as well. Let's see. How does XRP normally behave with the EMAs? So, respected at that time. Let's go back. Respected it there to come higher. Come lower. Respected it there to go. Okay. So, if it doesn't come down for our trade here, I like to see. If it doesn't come down for the sweep, I'd like to see it pull the 50 EMA on the 15-minute up, retest underneath the 200, entry there, next leg up. That's the both of the entries I like. That's how I would play XRP if I didn't have a position. Five-minute 200 rejection. So the same thing applies on the 5-minute. So if you want to kind of front run that 15-minute entry, you can look for an entry on the 5-minute as well. It's kind of ranging right now, right? We know it's ranging. I really like the sweep trade. I really like the sweep trade. If we get it, the sweep trade's great. If not, I would take the EMA trade on the 5 or 15-minute. All right, what's next? SCI? Yeah, we can look at SCI. One, two, three. Initiate out. Come back to mitigate. Oh yeah, we looked at this last week. Perfect. Man, we have been nailing SEI. We nailed the 39 cents exit up here. We nailed the re-entry down here at 29 cents. And this is just TA, folks, right? Like, I'm not a prophet. I don't know anything about this shit, right? It's in the charts. It's in the charts. All right, we're patient. We waited for demand to get hit. Cool. All right, now what is it? Reject. Dang, SEI trades beautifully with market structure. Absolutely beautifully, right? Where would we reject it? Where would we expect it to hit its head on the way up? right off the supply, right? 33.55, which means that where are we most likely to come back to, right? Well, we're probably going to come back to demands. Right, so I'd be looking to get into SEI. A retest of 31 cents. 31 cents where I'd be looking. Got a nice little volume spike here, little volume support nipple thing. Okay. 1 hour. Ah, ha, ha, beautiful. Look where that 1 hour 200 EMA is. Look at that. Doesn't get much more beautiful than that. Look at where the reversal zone is on the 1 hour. Yeah, I like 31 cents. 31 cents on SEI. Right here. That's what I like. Okay. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oh wait, whoa, what trade was that? Another trade here. Coming above here. Retest. Nice. Yeah, we nailed. Wait, that had to be a view that asked for that, Joey. Joey, did you take this trade? $0.29. Wait, is that the same thing? Oh, nice, you took it. Awesome. Sweet. Well, hopefully we just got you another one. 31 cents. That's what I see. Otherwise, where are we looking? So, something interesting is that we did already come down and mitigate this demand here. So, yeah, it would be one more. Ooh. 1, 2, 3. Kind of expanded. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if we can come up and break 33 cents, then we don't have to come down here. But I really think this is most likely. That would be where I would be betting. Yeah, 31 cents. Yep. Cool. ENS? Yeah, we can look at ENS. Daily golden cross on ENS. Retest to 50. Perfect mitigation. So, okay, all right. So the weekly, we just got weekly market structure break. I did, Curtis. Yeah, I bought some arrow. Was that you that asked me to look at it? That was, if that was you that asked me to look at it, thank you, bro. Yeah, that looked amazing, man. That looked too good not to take. It was right on top of that lifetime VWAP. Okay. So we broke weekly market structure here. Came back, mitigated the. Yeah, this looks good. The ENS looks good. Structurally, it looks good. Good mitigation. Okay, so I'm just going to call this out in case we get some sort of major dump, right? I don't really foresee that happening, but if we do, this is the dream, right? Buying it here. This is the dream, right? This is the very patient trader who doesn't really want to mess with this unless it comes here. This is the dream. Right? Obviously TP1 up here, right? And that would be getting in at 19 at like 20 bucks. But again, it looks good here as long as you're safe about it. Hide your 4-hour. Man, Cipher Matrix gave you a great entry on this one. Yeah, retest underneath the 4-hour after the golden cross. Now it's currently moving up. We put in a nice little 4-hour local low here. At, what is that? Like 28.75. So if you are in any sort of long, you can use that as kind of your stop loss. If you're not in a trade yet, I hope you're joking, Kelly. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this thing's pumping. It looks good. I'd look to get in. If you're scalping, I'd look to get in underneath the 5-minute 200. I think we pull back here and then get in underneath the 5-minute 200. Is that a real coin? Are you kidding me? What? Yeah, I think you're trolling me. Yeah, I'd look to get in underneath, like this point of control confluence underneath the 5-minute 200. That's where I'd be looking. If we get a bigger pullback, yeah, I like 20 bucks. I also like here. I like 20 bucks. I like 27,150. Yeah, 27,150 and 20 bucks. If we're not going to hold internally. If we hold internally, then as long as it's above 28.75, you're good. All right, let's look at Bitcoin one more time before we call it here. What's Bitcoin doing? At our 15-minute here. Just retesting previous highs here. Nothing really that concerning. Yep, still looking at like the 118 to 117 200 area to buy. Everything from earlier in the stream applies for Bitcoin. Yeah, Barb. Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys all being here. I don't normally do a lot of showing on the stream, but I will just say I'm really proud of the indicator that I built for the community. I mean, we got our 6-hour buy signal down here, giving you perfect time to buy. Same thing with the 12-hour. I am happy. The indicator has called both of the previous 2 bottoms on the 12-hour. Amazing, amazing stuff, guys. Make sure you have large time frame signals turned on. They don't flash that often, but they really are strong. 8-hour as well, right? Calling these reversals, right? 8-hour, right? Really awesome stuff, guys. If you're not in the Discord, make sure you join the Discord. It is pinned to the top of the chat. That's where we share daily TA. We're also doing bot trades every weekday. Last week, I think the bot was correct pretty much every day. So it was definitely a great first day. If you want to check out Cipher Matrix, make sure you hit me up in Discord. Let's see. Anything else to say? Yeah, make sure you subscribe, ring the bell. We are live 5 days a week. I think that's it, yeah. Trade safe, guys. Much love. Wave Cipher out.